earlier this year in the Smith Center. This might be a game where late in the game, Cole Anthony is going to be the point guard taking over, not Trey Jones, leading his team to victory. I think that's what ends up happening, and I'm going to pick Carolina in this game as well. I think there's just a confidence about this team. They know that they've got to keep the momentum going if they want to make a run in the ACC tournament, and I think this is just them rallying around each other one more time to get it done in the regular season before they head to Greensboro. So I think they get it done, and we'll be storming Franklin Street for the second time in our lifetimes. That should be really fun, hopefully. Or third time, excuse me. We did that during the national championship. I was blanking that out of my mind. But, yeah, second time for Duke, third time overall.
Hopefully that is what we are indeed doing. Well, guys, as you probably will know for those that are longtime listeners, whenever the opening tip makes an appearance on the podcast, that also means the Beat the Buzzer segment, and we'll go there now.
Welcome to Beat the Buzzer.
And with that, we will just do what we always do in this part of the show, in this rivalry podcast. Look at the stats that make this a rivalry that has no other words other than greatness. Carolina leads the all-time series against Duke 139 to 113. This, of course, being in Duke. Carolina is 48-54 all-time in Durham, 37-45 all-time in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Under Roy Williams, Carolina has won on the road in 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009. That was when Keller Hansborough's class became the first class to ever go 4-0. And then also including 2012, 2016, and 2019 for a grand total of 7 wins in Durham. This is the 153rd consecutive Carolina-Duke game in which one team is ranked in the AP poll. That's mind-boggling. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense considering both programs would have up and down years over the course of that time. Coach K is 48, or says 46, or Coach K is 48-46 against Carolina, so he's got only 2 games above 500 since he took over the program for Duke in 1980. Roy Williams, since he came home, is 16-21 against Duke. Not above 500, but not a bad winning percentage considering the fact that from 2013 to 2016, you got swept two times. Other times you were split. So these numbers are just, they are what they are. You look at the last 101 matchups, Duke's outscored Carolina by 2. Those 2 points being the margin of victory which they won the first game in Durham. So it's why when you look at these numbers in depth, you can argue some other rivalries, whether it's in college basketball, college football, the NFL, MLB, the NBA. Nothing in American sports can offer what this rivalry offers, and we're shaping up for another classic one once again this time. With that, we're going to go ahead and get into the shutdown portion of the podcast. But before we let you go, I'm going to let Anthony talk to you about HeelToughBlog.com.
We got a ton of stuff on HeelToughBlog.com. Of course, we will have you covered with everything for the Duke game. So, of course, the Duke preview will be coming out. We'll have the article where you guys can go through and read the 3 keys to the game. That'll be coming out. When are you going to have that up on the website? That should be up sometime tomorrow, right?
It'll be up on Friday.
There you go. So that'll be up there on the website for you guys. And then, of course, we'll have you covered with all of the recap of the game. We'll have Josh's recap, my analysis of the game, and then, of course, we will turn to the ACC tournament, get you prepared for that, for what we hope will be a run to an ACC tournament title and potentially to the NCAA tournament. No matter what, we'll have you covered, even if this team doesn't make it to the NCAA tournament. If they're in the NIT tournament, if they're in the CBI tournament, if they're in no tournament, we'll still have you covered. We would then go into off-season mode, but we'll have you covered all throughout the off-season as well on HeelToughBlog.com. Also, you can check out all the football coverage. Speaking of the off-season, the Tar Heels off-season for the football team is coming to an end here soon, at least for spring ball. So make sure you're keeping an eye on the website. Of course, I'm going to have you covered with everything leading up to spring practice. We have the article on the 12 players that will miss spring practice. You guys can go through, read about the guys that will unfortunately not be able to participate in spring practice. And then, of course, I will have you covered with some really interesting articles coming up, some of my favorite ones that I do before spring ball, which will be the interesting battles to watch in spring, as well as the top 5 players to watch in spring practice. Of course, everything will conclude then after they start on March 17th on April 18th, which will be the spring game in Kenan Stadium. And, of course, we also have baseball coverage on the website as well. Big series coming up this weekend against Notre Dame. Carolina coming in on a 2-game winning streak after they were able to shake off what was a little bit of a rough weekend up in Minneapolis for what they kind of consider the ACC Big Ten Challenge. It's some sort of classic that they did up there, played in the home of the Minnesota Vikings up in Minneapolis. So Carolina did not have a great week, but they've got it back on track, so I'll be covered with everything from that, with my recap of the week in Carolina baseball. So that's what we got going on HeelToughBlog.com. Of course, you can check all that out. If you want to do it on the Facebook page, Twitter page, it's just at HeelToughBlog on both of those, or you can subscribe to the website by just scrolling down to the bottom, and we'll send you every article right in your email. That's the best way to do it. So that's HeelToughBlog.com. What else you got for us before you get us out of here, bud?
And, before we let you go, we're going to talk to you about liking, reviewing, and most importantly, to subscribe to the podcast. You can find us on every major podcast platform, most notably Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. We highly encourage you to like it. Give us a review. Review my performance as the host. Review Anthony as the co-host. Most importantly, subscribe. That way you get every podcast into your podcast after every time we upload a new episode. So with that, I'm going to thank Anthony for coming on here. Once again, we're doing these late at night as work schedules have not allowed us to do these either at work or during the day to talk Carolina and Duke. We want to thank you guys for listening. And as always, go Tar Heels and go to hell, Duke.